Welcome to Off the Post, brought to you by Lights On Electric and Cover All Exteriors. I'm Russ Cohen. We've got Anthony Mingione. And how are
you? It was an interesting night to be covering anything Toronto sports related. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, we were in the epicenter of it almost. And
Michael Jello,
no, but like on the periphery of the epicenter, even though that's probably not possible. And Michael Jello, who seems unusually happy today. Mike, any reason?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day.
All right.
Fine. Could you be nice?
Don't egg Mike's house.
All right. I'm surprised.
I'm sorry. We're 3 days late from his house getting egged. I apologize.
Yeah. This is how you know it's a good day for Mike, because he's wearing gray. I mean, I happen to be today too, but Mike tends to wear gray. Anyhow, so let's start with the Leafs Flyers game, because a lot of things happen. The injury to Tanev, who apparently is moving around. Craig Berube said that last night, so that's good. And
yeah, he did give a thumbs up, but we
didn't see it. I didn't see it.
And after the game, Berube said that he was going to undergo testing, but there was a chance that he was going to fly back with them. I don't know if it was right after the game or if that was this morning, whatever, but it sounds like it wasn't as bad as it looked. I mean, it looked really bad. And the thing is,
we don't know, like concussion wise, he could be out again. That
was the thing I was going to say. This is 10 days after he got concussed on a Dawson Mercer. It was like an inadvertent. And Russ, believe me, I'm one who will usually snap to, oh my God, that was. I didn't think Mishkov meant to.
It was pure. No, it was. I mean, does it get the interference call? Of course, but it was the head contact was definitely. It was incidental.
No, the head contact was. It's from behind. The guy doesn't know it's coming, but it does seem like it was accidental. I looked at it a few more times, and I kind of agree with that. The only thing is, I don't think the Flyers did Michkov any favors by not having him speak. I know Travis Sanheim spoke for him, but that doesn't work as well.
And I know there were trying that there was couple reporters who were trying
to
get him, and then it didn't
work out, and
things didn't quite line up, and didn't know what exactly
it would have been better for the player if he could have done that, and I'm sure it would have, because then it clears the air and he could give his side of it. When it comes to another player, it's never as good. So that's all I'm saying. But it is what it is. As far as the game, it was interesting because that first period, I felt like the Leafs were just underperforming in a lot of ways. Obviously, on the power play, their power play stinks, and the Flyers' power play is no better. It's just they did improve a little bit in that game.
Technically,
but technically
it is.
But what I'll say is, and this is something that I was talking to Anthony and Charlie O'Connor in the during one of the breaks. I said this isn't an opportunity for Nick Robertson to score a goal. This is before he scored it, just to score goals for them, because they kind of needed that scoring, Mike. And that's something that could be big for them.
Well, I mean, I've been saying this for 2 years, and I know you've been saying similar things, but it's like when a guy scores 14 and 15 goals the last 2 years with limited ice time, playing third and fourth line minutes, and you lose a guy like Mitch Marner, who is an offensive driver. Give this guy a chance in the top six. I know defensively he is not a plus defender. If he's just an okay defender, and I think he's improved enough where like he's stronger along the boards, and sometimes he makes stupid decisions, but he's got a shot. I mean, he's got an NHL shot, and
that goal was he wired that like that.
Yeah,
was a great shot.
They need that offense with 16 going to Vegas. So I mean, and they played him with Nyes and Matthews. That was the best. That was the best line of the night for the Leafs. Now again, I'm not worried about their power play because of that. Their power play was good with Riley a couple years ago. They went to the 5-forward power play last year. It worked. It worked well. I think it's just a case of getting used to, and they were without Nylander yesterday. So Max Domi.
If you don't have that was what Russ and I were kind of discussing, was that the Leafs have kind of almost like a burly presence to them now, which again, when you're looking at the power play, like they look like they're threatening, like they are in the offensive zone. They can get a lot of time, a lot of zone time, but then the ability to finish is, where the concern lies when you don't have an Nylander. And it was noticed last night. It was it was like Austin Matthews, Morgan Riley, and a cast of guys just kind of muscling, trying to get in position, but not quite able to finish. And, it's one of those cases where it's just different now, not having that additional, like I'm watching Zegras on the Flyers, and the way he operates on the power play was a lot, I think, in many ways, the way Marner did. He was kind of a hinge that allows it to flow much better than it did. So that was the thing that I noticed really kind of getting and digging in and actually watching the Leafs last night was that.
I'll say this, post game with Rick Tuckett, one thing held true with me because I spoke to Rich Bradley, who does the stats, because I always ask him for some weird stats, some things we might miss, and two things aligned. And while Travis Zegras is hammering some shots on the power play, those are not hard to stop because of where they were, and they're in the exact same spot. But going into that third period, Zegras was 0 for 5 on shots on the net, and I do think their shot selection needs to be better. Owen Tippett had some really prime opportunities where he took some weird shots that really gave him almost no chance of scoring. And I feel like when Tocchet is talking about them going to the net and sort of looking at the video, this is something that has plagued them for a couple of years, especially with Tippett, for shot selection. It really has.
And Tocchet said that, obviously in the post game, is that, they got it, taking it basically kind of on himself and saying, it's our responsibility as coaches to kind of really hammer this home with this team. Personnel wise, I mean, you're again, the one guy you're looking for guys who are willing to get to the net. And I think Brink does that, but he gets bounced around a bit because of his size. Grabenkin likes to do that, but he's not obviously being afforded power play time right now to get to the middle. So that's something that I wonder if you're going to see a potential wrinkle on that in the future. It's just, you have to have certain commitment in terms of getting to the net. And you're watching the Leafs goals last night. You see the McCabe goal. You got to get screens. You got to get eyes in front of the goaltender. And they just, at this point right now with the size, they're still, even against the Leafs team, they're still predominantly an undersized lineup by comparison, especially when you're trying to get into the skill player. You got to have those guys who are willing to get in front and make that screen and get the goalie's eyes off the shot for that split second.
And Vladar didn't even see the McCabe shot.
No, he never shot.
No, I mean, Joshua and I forget who the defender was. They literally, as that shot's coming in, they're literally like in his frame. You could literally see them coming across. And then the shot's coming in, and Vladar, it was already past Vladar before you knew it. To the point we actually thought it was where Joshua's stick was.
Right. People were looking for that deflection, but it didn't.
It wasn't. It was a straight, it just straight fluttered into the net, which still, again, end of the day, whether it was a redirection or not, a guy got himself in front at the right time.
And he stayed there at the right time. Mike, before you answer, I want to ask you something else, and you could talk about both things. Post game, I feel like when David Alter was asking Austin Matthews about Robertson, it's almost like he had to force the question on him. It's almost like Matthews doesn't seem interested in having Robertson on his line. I don't know why, but he seemed very non-committal about it.
Well, I think he probably realizes it's a temporary thing, and he knows that Nylander is going to go back on the line. But the thing is, the fact that Robertson is not a good defender puts the burden more on Matthews.
That may be why, because Matthews was noticeable on defense in that game, very noticeable.
Right. I mean, he did say, I heard the comments, and he's like, he's got a heavy shot. Yeah, he does. He has a heavy shot, and I think there is a role for him. But sometimes the offensive abilities, are outweighed by his defensive liabilities. So it's like that. Now I wanted to ask you something because I know that he wasn't particularly good on the first goal, on the Dvorak goal, but I wanted to get your impressions on Easton Cowan because I thought he had a really good game after that.
He did. And then I'll let Anthony go. I liked his game. Post game, I like the fact that he talked about certain things. I'm going to write about it later. I don't have exact recall on it because I'm tired, but he did say some things about being direct to the net or something like that. And I thought that was really sharp for a young guy. I had some exposure to Cowan, like at the last year's rookie photo. So I feel like he's a smart player, and I do think he's pretty mature. So I would keep him up because I thought the shot was really good. I feel like if he was weighted down by not having his first NHL goal, that's only going to help him. But I feel like he's a smart player. He's going to make some rookie mistakes.
Yeah, I would keep him with Tavares.
Yeah, I think I agree with you, Michael. I think that's I liked what I saw, especially on that initial goal, 33 seconds in. The instinct of Cowan he knew to get into the lane as Tavares was picking that puck up, and he wheels that puck over to him. So those are really good instincts. Yeah, I do see what you see in Cowan there for sure. He's the kind of player that it's interesting. There's some elements of his game that reminds me a little bit of Matthew Nyes, and it's not necessarily a bad thing to have a couple of those guys who can do
probably
that.
Has a better shot than Nyes.
Probably, he might. He might.
But Nyes is a bull in a china shot.
That's his gift. Yeah, he's more boldy like, and Cowan has more finesse skill. Not finesse,
a little more finesse, but I still see that he's got there's the willingness. There's the willingness to knife into the lane,
and he looks like he's put on about 7 pounds of muscle since the last time.
He definitely built himself up over the summer. I'll just say one last thing about this from the Leaf perspective. Anthony Stolarz. He played a good game yesterday.
He did.
Now, but the thing is, here's the key, and I'm writing about this for the Hockey News. Stolarz has been ridiculously overused because of the Joseph Woll leave of absence. But it's not I don't think it's coincidental that after the game he played in Buffalo last Friday night, so the 24th of October, he played the first of the back-to-back against Calgary and then had 3 full days off. So he played his best. This is a tandem goalie. He is not a number one. He's not a 1A. When Joseph Woll gets back, he's got to play at least half the games. In fact, I think he's got to play more than that because with rest, Stolarz is a good goalie. When you put too many games on him with his creaky knees, which in Buffalo, apparently he had big bags on both knees.
Yeah, he didn't last night. He was meeting up with old Flyers and in the hallway the whole time. So he did not do any kind of work on his knees after this game, Mike. So maybe that was...
We turned the corner. He was right outside in the hallway talking with several Flyer players.
Right. So he didn't show any bad results from that. So
and I know Scott Lawton was dying to play in this game.
Oh, he was chatting it up in the press box.
He wanted to. So
he really wanted to play. His family was there.
Yeah, I know they're gonna. They did not want the Flyers. I know they have stuff queued up for him. But obviously, you don't want to show him in the press box versus being on the ice. So that'll get saved for the next time. I'm sure that's going to be saved for the next time that he comes through town. But it was unfortunate in that regard. Jackie, by the way, Jackie Spiegel from the Inquirer had a really good. If you guys get a chance on Inquirer Sports, she had a really good interview with Scott on the bench. So make sure you all check that out. That was
all right. So I think what is the developing story that is probably not wanting to develop out of New York, and that is I think Panarin's getting traded. I don't think he's signing with them. I thought they would go all out and sign them. I don't believe Chris Drury's doing that anymore.
Well, go ahead.
Do you think it's – I guess we'll start first from the point of view of how he's meshing with Sullivan and Sullivan's concepts, Russ?
I don't think it's that because, I think Malkin is a more physical player than Panarin, but I think Sullivan has had Panarin-type players. Is it his favorite type player to coach? No.
I think it's the fact that he's 34 years old and you're going to have to spend probably 12 to 12.5 million.
I think that's what it is.
No, I think so too. I'm looking. That's the primary thing, but I'm also looking at some of potential subtext.
I think that there is that, and I bet you Sullivan and Drury vibe on that. But again, much like Kaprizov, Panarin could be in the game and be invisible for 2 periods and then score 2 goals in the 3rd period. Like that's what he does.
Yeah.
But the thing that's probably underrated about Panarin is how much he can control the puck on shifts. He really does do that. There's easy ways to find mistakes in Panarin's game.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy hasn't lasted this long and been this good for no reason. You know what I mean? Like there's still a boatload of talent there. Can the Rangers afford to lose his scoring? Probably not. But I'm not even sure the Rangers are a playoff team. I told you I don't think they are. Right. So I think he's going to get traded at the deadline, and I think he's going to be the big deadline move.
Yeah, I mean, and they have to start sort of shifting the lineup to closer to what Sullivan would prefer in this case.
Right.
We're not just talking about bringing in, Connor Sheary as a whisperer. I'm talking as in impact players that actually play the system that, that he wants to play.
Like I'll give you an example of a Sullivan New York type trade. Would the Penguins trade Panarin, get Panarin and trade Rust? And throw in, I don't know.
Because Rust has got 2 years left at a very reasonable salary.
But it's only 2 years. If they're going all in this year, because all of a sudden they look like a playoff team, that could really put them over the top. As far as at least giving them a couple of rounds in the playoffs. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I'm just saying I could see something like that happening.
Do you think Panarin would waive his no move clause to go to Pittsburgh
to play with Malkin? Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Because he's got a full no.
I know, but I think that would be the draw for him. Is he would
no move? And we know what no move is. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a way for the player to dictate the direction that they are going to trade him where he wants to go. At the end of the day,
he is a Kyle Dubas kind of player. Not that Rust isn't. Rust is, but there was a lot of smoke about Rust getting traded.
How old is Rust now?
32,
30-something. Yeah. He's only a little bit younger.
I mean, you're basically shedding him just to make sure you get off of the potential Panarin contract, basically, and have a player who's moderately decent, but you're still.
I think it would have to be a lot more than Panarin to get. I mean, Russ. Okay, Russ is 33. He's got 2 more years at $5.125 million. So,
they might have to throw in a player. They could throw in a prospect. I mean, the Rangers prospects aren't very good anyhow. So
no, but here's the thing, and it's. I mean, I know Elliot Friedman talked about it on the most recent 32 Thoughts, and the news that has come out over the last few days contributes to this narrative. Not only Panarin, but Kempe with the Kings and Alex Tuch with Buffalo. We'll talk about that in a minute. These guys have NHL general managers by the balls because now that Kaprizov is gone, now that Logan Cooley, who wasn't a UFA, but he's set the mark at $10 million a year. Now that Natchez is off at 11.5, the top 3 unrestricted free agents next July are Panarin, Kempe, and Tuch. And that's going to drive the price up. I mean, and I don't think it's one of these deals where, well, you can't pay. Alex Tuch is going to get paid over $11 million. And I don't know whether it's going to be from Buffalo. I don't think it will be. I don't think Buffalo will pay him that much. We'll talk about the Sabres in a second, but I mean, Kempe, the Kings, if they don't sign Kempe, I think they're a lottery team.
Well, they're out there scouting, Mike, so it's possible they're looking to make some sort of deal. I don't know what, but I'm digging around. That's all I'm going to say on that. But they do look like the Kings look like they're going to be active. And
based on Ken Holland's short-sighted summer, where he brings in
or him just being Ken Holland.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm saying you bring in Brian Dumoulin and Corey Perry and Joel Armia, all those offensive juggernauts.
Listen, Corey Perry has like 7 goals. Don't bring him into the conversation.
Yeah, I'm going to say Corey Perry. That was probably not the one to bring up.
No, he's not the one to put in this. He's actually lighting it up right now.
Yeah,
but that's okay. I get what you're saying generally.
But yeah, I do agree with you, Russ. I think the Kings are definitely sniffing around right now. They're sniffing around for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Mike, the Sabres with Alex Tuch. There is a conversation to be had that sometimes a team does have to pay a player to keep him there. Mm-hmm. And he does seem like that guy for them. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, like, when are they actually going to do it? Are they going to do it after they see what they can get for him at the deadline and decide that it wasn't enough, so we'll keep him? Or are they going to be proactive about this?
No, they cannot. Okay, last year they took a approach, and I don't know whether they had deals in place and these are secondary players, but both Jordan Greenway and Jason Zucker were pending UFAs. They supposedly were, prepared to move them. They got them signed on extensions. Had they not gotten them signed on extensions, I assume that they would have traded them because they were going to walk away from nothing.
Right.
Alex Tuch and Kevin Adams during training camp, they all said the right thing. Oh, I'm from Syracuse. I love Buffalo. I want to stay in Buffalo. And Kevin Adams, we want him as part of the blah, 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 blah. Okay, that's great. But the problem is that, and it was reported a couple weeks ago by David Pagnotta, that Tuch had the Bartlett agents, the Bartletts, pause negotiations. Now, this was after the 0-3 start. They've been a little bit better since then. But you don't pause negotiations unless you're not sure of the future of the club. You don't know, if Lindy is probably retiring after this year. You don't know who the coach is going to be. You don't know who the general manager is going to be. There's a lot of uncertainty in Buffalo. And if they don't make the playoffs this year, do you want to be tied to this? From the Buffalo perspective is if you can't get him on a deal, with the market being what it is with Panarin and Kempe, he might be the number one guy and he has no trade protection. So you can trade him to Timbuktu if you want to. So, I mean, if you're Adams and you still have a job on March the 6th, if you don't prepare for the fact that you may have to trade Alex Tuch, you should be fired on the spot. You need to prepare
on the spot. Fire.
Well, you should be prepared. You should be prepared.
This is like Mike, you act like Buffalo does things quickly. They don't do anything quickly.
Oh, Russ, it's November. So I'm saying you've got a whole 5 months here, or 4 months in a week or so. You have to.
Mike is pounding the pulpit right now on a Sunday.
What are they going to do with Lindy when they have another non-playoff year? What do they do with Lindy?
Well, Lindy's in the final year of his contract. Nobody is saying it, but I believe this is Lindy's last year. I don't think he's signing an extension.
So it's no more Lucky Lindy, right?
Yeah. He's flying to Paris.
That's good for those history
all by himself. Yeah, but yeah, the triple Lindy. He's doing the triple Lindy. But no, but I mean, if Kevin, and I'm not saying anything out of school here because I think everybody knows it. If Kevin Adams keeps his job this year, Seth Appert is likely next.
We've talked about that for over a year.
But if Adams gets fired and Jarmo Kekalainen comes in, then you're talking, Torts. You're talking whoever. I mean,
you're not talking. You're not talking Torts.
Okay,
no way.
Okay, I'm just, whatever. You're not talking Peter DeBoer.
I will tell you this: if Torts comes in, I hope everybody in Buffalo gets ready for like 8 a.m. practices. Because that's what it's going to be.
I won't be there. I won't be there. I'll have my blankie and I'll be sleeping.
Yeah. It'll be like 8:30 in the morning.
Torts in Buffalo is kind of yeah. Continued.
So let's do an update on what's happening in the rink in Milan Cortina.
Yes.
In Italy. It's 100 days. No, normally we would not mark.
We put and in today's blog for the show, if anybody checked it out, we put a link into the CBC article. I'm sorry, the article and YouTube video for where things are at. My feeling on this, Russ, is that it'll get done, but there's what's going to happen. They're going to get an arena, and there's going to be stuff that functionally it will be able to host games, what it will be like if you're covering, or what the locker room situation is going to be.
It's like the it's like the IOC used the setup at Mullet Arena as their model, because that's what it's going to be like.
I don't know, but I'll tell you, and I understand that back in the day, the Core State Center just got done like a day before like the World Cup, and they were still putting in seats that day. This is beyond that. This is worse than that. Hold on, my dog is stealing something. I have to go get.
This show is now incomplete, just like the arena in Italy.
but okay. To Russ's point, I mean, because we saw the 11th hour scrambling when it came to.
Speaking of 11th hour scrambling, as Russ scrambles back into his
scrambled as quick as I could.
Jake, don't eat the pumpkin.
It was cold. Cole was trying to eat a blanket. Come here. So anyhow, the thing about it is, so we see pieces of the roof aren't done. We see there's no excavation on the outside, like there's no like place for anybody to park, and the inside is not done either. The inside, because I did some research, even though we're not seeing too many pictures, the inside's not close to being done because they have holes in the roof. Like you can't.
But you're forgetting something. The Italians invented concrete. They'll get there. Don't worry. They were the OGs listen, the Romans were the OGs when it came to concrete. If anybody's going to get this thing built, it'll be the Italians.
The Coliseum was an open air stadium, Anthony.
Right. That's right. How are they with doing roofs? Because
you don't think they had enclosed arenas in Rome?
I could see through like
the
3
sides.
From
New Jersey from The Sopranos.
I could see through like 3 sides of that roof. That's the only issue there.
100 days, man. This is what happens. Listen, as a person who's traveled in Italy, we did a trip. My wife and I did a 6-day trip. It was 3 days in Vienna, 3 days in Venice, and I mean, it was fascinating to see how those two countries operated functionally. Right. Austria is like clockwork, German clockwork, and Italy was like, yeah, we'll get there eventually. Just relax.
This is the first time, Olympic NHL hockey players have played there in 12 years, and this is what's going on. So it'll
be fun. It'll be fun. I just
sure.
Don't forget for everybody who's participating and covering. Hope everything kind of works out. But yeah, 100 days to go, and that arena is still not quite.
I didn't realize until watching that report. I thought, okay, they were going to have the skiing in Cortina and a couple other things, and they were going to have all the the figure skating and the hockey in Milan. No, it's 5 different locations.
Yes, they're just those 2 cities are the hubs. Basically, it's really. It might as well be just considered the Piedmont Olympics, basically. Right.
Yeah.
If we're really getting into it here. But it's not that surprising. I mean, that happens, I think, in a lot of cases where there are other kind of sub-locations that are included because they want to have, that opportunity to say we were an Olympic site. And lots of money gets passed back and forth to make sure those things happen. And
yeah. So a little bit of a shocking hockey stat. I thought, and again, we're 13 games in, but and the Flyers are going to play Calgary today. They're a -18 already. Like, I don't know, man. That ship looks like it's filling them with water, and I think they've got to trade Rasmus Anderson. Like, I really do. And maybe that's ultimately what the Kings are hanging out for, and is to wait to see Anderson.
Maybe.
play.
I mean, you add to the mix Dustin Wolf. I mean, it's not. We talk about the confidence that teams have when you have good goaltending, and how that really is kind of intrinsic to the structure of any hockey team, is that if you've got goaltending that isn't up to snuff, everything around it kind of will fall apart, because the players then have to they have to think about coming back. They have to think about supporting and covering, which you always should do anyway. Right. But it becomes more of a absolute requirement just to ensure that, and that takes away from your ability to run your systems properly, or do you have to adjust your systems? And I think we're seeing that with Calgary right now. I don't want to put everything on Wolf's shoulders here, but I was just thinking to myself, and I was having this discussion with Al Morgani previous to the game. It says Calgary. It just seems like everything is like how much they get to look at and say, look at the first month of the season. This is Wolf. And then you're seeing what Vladar's doing in Philly, and you're like, what? What is this?
Yeah, Mackenzie Weegar's a -12.
Weegar's been probably one of the biggest stories there. I think
I wouldn't have ever expected.
My thing has always been with Mackenzie Weegar is that I've always known him to be a pretty good offensive defenseman in this case, but if the offense disappears with him, I always get a little bit concerned about how good he is handling things from the back end, and it's been a rough go for him so far.
Well, a couple things on the Flames, because Friedman said last night that they had scratched Zane Parak.
Yeah, and they should send him back.
And Parak is at 9 games. So, honestly, he clearly is not ready.
No,
he's not producing offensively. We know he's an offensive defenseman.
That's what he is.
It's like one of these Shane Wright, Matthew Savoy type of situations where he's, he can't go to the American Hockey League. It sucks. Maybe you send him on a conditioning stint. Maybe he goes down to the AHL for a week or so, and then he goes to the World Juniors.
It's complicated. Interesting because we kind of went with this with Philadelphia with Luchenko to discuss the conditioning stint, and there's like complications that are involved. I think with how the conditioning stint is supposed to be done in some cases.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what they are exactly, but it was enough that Philly decided to send Luchenko straight up back to Guelph.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe I don't know if it's easier because this is Parek's first this is his first tour of duty with the Flames, right?
Yes.
So I don't know if they're able to kind of be able to figure that out.
I mean, let him fill up on pretzels tonight and then send him back. Like that's my feeling.
But on the Flames, I mean, okay. Everybody would have signed Dustin Wolf to an extension.
Of course.
No, there's nothing. It's just, but I do, you do wonder about, now, you're a young goaltender who now you're the guy. And this is kind of where, year two, you have to kind of deal with those additional expectations and how you handle those expectations. And again, far too early for me to say, this was a mistake. They shouldn't have done it.
No. But it's
Dustin Wolf was amazing last season.
And I can attest to this because their backup was with Rochester and briefly with the Sabres, Devin Cooley. Cooley is not an NHL goaltender. No. You needed to go out and get a backup, not Vladar, but a backup that you could have claimed Michael DiPietro or Clay.
He'd have been fine.
And you didn't do that. So now you're basically putting all your eggs in one basket when it comes to Wolf. And I think on top of the pressure of the big contract, his name started to get mentioned as maybe he's the third goalie of the U.S. Olympic team.
Not anymore.
Way too much pressure on him. So that's one. Two, the Rasmus Anderson thing, they're going to make their decision on their immediate future probably by American Thanksgiving. Because if they're way out of it, you got the Gavin McKenna thing here. You've got the chance of you're going to be in the top 3 or 4 in a very good draft. Mm-hmm. Rasmus Anderson, if he was signing there,
he's not signing.
He's not signing there. He's only got a 6-team no trade, and it's been vague. The rumors have been Vegas all along, but they could trade him anywhere they get the best package.
Right.
And that's what
Vegas has the cap space now,
and Vegas has the cap space.
The magical cap space is back.
The other one, and I'm tired of hearing. And also, you have to say Coronado, who they signed to an extension, he's feeling the pressure. He's
minus 12, but he has points at least.
Yeah, they scratched him against Toronto because I think they were trying to teach him a little bit of a lesson.
Yeah.
But the name we're going to get sick of hearing friggin' Nazem Kadri's name because
he's their leading scorer too.
But Vancouver needs a second line center. Montreal needs a second line center. They're like 3, 4, 5.
Half the freaking league needs a second line center.
Right. That's true.
You just stole my line. And that's the thing. But the problem is Nazem Kadri is 35 years old, and he's got 3 years left on his contract at $7 million. $7 million isn't exactly onerous anymore with the cap going up, but 3 more years at 38. I mean, that's
I will say this.
Mike, post up Terry's comment real quick.
Oh,
it's a really good comment. A good question regarding this.
No, I don't think so because Morgan Frost is their second leading scorer. Now, Farabee could be doing better, but Frost is doing fine.
Frost, I think, is doing fine. And again, it's they got what they got in this circumstance, and we can have that discussion.
Getting the center is important.
Yeah,
right. The thing is also whether or not he's doing well, but you need somebody else in there as well to kind of.
I mean,
as the season goes on, there will be some level of regression. You need something to compensate.
Right. And I don't think this is an insult to Morgan because I've watched him play hockey since he was 17 years old. He's not a number 1 center in the NHL. He's a really good number 2 center.
Right.
And the problem is they don't have a number 1 center.
Right.
And if they
I think on a contending team, he's probably like you have 2 really good centers, and he's like that extra guy. He's that extra guy who you create matchup issues.
Right.
That's how I view Morgan.
Yeah, I will say this. I do think Ryan Huska is in the hottest of hot seats. He could be the first coach out.
Well, he's just got an extension.
It doesn't matter.
I get it, but he has an extension, so that's something.
I know
that has to be. That's going to be in the calculus, Russ.
It is, but I mean, they don't want to be in the spot they're in. Mike gave a good reason as to why it will be okay in the end, but the optics of this to their fan base, it's going to be a tough sell.
Yeah, but they were in the mix for the playoffs until the final week of the season.
Yeah,
so
right.
That's why, with a team that is flawed, but they have a bunch of contracts. If they decide to tear it down to the studs, I mean, they're not going to trade Coronado. They're not going to trade. They can't trade Huberdeau because that contract.
Blake Coleman can go. I mean,
Blake Coleman, maybe Sharon Govich.
Yeah.
Maybe Farabee needs another change of scenery. I don't know. There's
send him to the Bruins. He'll do well with the Bruins. That's my feeling. He seems like that kind of guy. All right. So something else that's a hard sell. A food trend, the Japanese souffle pancake. So this is weird to me because, like, we know what a souffle is, and they're making them like in pancakes.
Hold on, I'm bringing it up because I'm going to see what this looks like. Japanese
souffle pancake.
Souffle.
And here is my thing about pancakes. I have two go-to.
Okay, here we go.
I have two go-to places for pancakes.
Yeah.
Cracker Barrel,
IHOP,
and IHOP, right? And they make completely different. Cracker Barrel is the crispier kind.
Biscuits.
Yeah. IHOP is the fluffier kind. So I kind of like crispy sometimes. I like fluffy on other times. What I don't want are soft, jiggly pancakes like this is. And that's what my problem would be, having this for breakfast. But what do you guys think?
I don't know.
Well, in just seeing it for the first time, it looks like somebody put like cake flour in a pancake recipe.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would give it a try because it doesn't look bad, but it does look more like a biscuit than it looks like.
Yeah.
But I mean, especially if you're zoomed in on it, I'm sure it's obviously super soft by comparison.
But it could be like a lava cake, like you open it up and stuff comes seeping out, and I don't want that.
Or if you got some fruit in the middle of it, it could be
right.
good. Like,
I was just saying,
fruit.
If you gut it and you put like Nutella or something like that in there, then I wouldn't want.
I always, to me, I am not a fan of like stuff being stuffed, with food being stuffed with that kind of, Nutella or something like that. I'm okay with like dipping it and then dipping it.
Yeah.
So I just get a little bit of it. I don't want a full on just too much of it in this case. But berries in the middle of it, strawberries. You could potentially kind of put a little strawberry thing in the middle of that. That to me, because the taste to me would be fine. But it's just, to me, not being a super traditionalist and everything, but I would be like, a pancake is a pancake at the end of the day. I like them somewhat fluffy, but not like,
see, they say
not like it looks like it's been inflated with air.
Right. Here's the difference. Why it's not a biscuit. On the inside, they say it's almost like a mini sponge cake, and it's like, I'm
not on board. I'm not on board with a sponge cake.
You know how a smoothie is sort of like a shake that's full of air, and it's the job of the smoothie is to fill you up. That's what this pancake is. It's like a
smoothie of pancakes.
It's like a smoothie of pancakes. It's like a pancake that collapses when you put
because
the baking soda makes it rise, and then
yeah. Interesting.
I'd try it and give it a try.
This is not the most horrific thing you've ever shown us on this podcast.
It's a weird thing.
I was waiting for the pumpkin spice.
Like, if you ordered pancakes at a place and they brought you those, you would think, this is a little weird. Forget about the pumpkin spice. It's not even talking about it.
I still got 3 bags downstairs to get through to November. But
save them till next fall.
Trader Joe's best version, man.
Whatever.
The rest of it's all crap.
That's it. That's it for Off the Post. We'll catch everybody next time.
Take care, everybody.